So today we are going to discuss about the array data structure. So array data structure is a collection of similar types of data. Okay, so the data type can be integer, string, double, float, boolean, or etc. Okay, so if you are creating the array of type integer, let's consider you are creating the array of type integer, then you can only store integer data inside that array. If you are creating the array of type string, then definitely you can only store the string data inside that array. So this is the thing about the array. So that's why it's a collection of similar type of data. Okay. So one more point is it is also the linear data structure. So now what does it mean? So consider that you have two numbers, 36 and 39, that you are storing into the system's memory. So definitely this number is also stored somewhere and this is also stored somewhere. Okay. And if you will ask this 36 number, which one is the next number? It doesn't know. Okay, because it is not stored in linear manner. Okay, so that's why it doesn't know which one is the next one. Okay, but if we talk about linear data structure, so in linear data structure, we have stored 36 and on the next position, we have stored 39. So if we will ask 36, which one is the next one? So it will say, yes, 39 is the next one because it is storing the data in the linear or the sequential manner, I can say. Okay, so again, consider the example 36, the next one is 39, the next one is 4, and the next one is 1. So here, each previous element knows which one is the next one. Okay, so this is the thing about the linear data structure. So array is also the linear data structure. So let's now understand the structure of the array. So consider that we are creating then one array. The name of the array is marks and we are storing integer data inside this array. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So we are going to store 5 data in this array and it will be of type integer. So 69, 64, 79, 84 and 85. Okay, so here I have created one array of type integer and also I have stored integer data inside that array. Okay, so now let's look into the properties of the array. Okay, so the first property is size, second one is index, and the third one is element. Okay, so how many data we have stored in this marks array? I can say 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So what is the size of the array? Definitely it will be 5. So size is nothing but the number of elements that you have stored inside the array. So here we have stored 5 elements inside this array. So it is 5. Okay. So now index. Index is nothing but the position. Okay. So it will always start with 0. So 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay. So we can say at index 0, the element which is stored is 69. At index 3, the element that we have stored it is 84. Okay. And now you must have guessed that what is the element. Element is the actual data value that we have stored in the array. So these are the elements 69, 64, 79, 84, 85. Okay. So size is the number of elements that we have stored in the array. Index is nothing but the position, and it will always start with 0. An element or data value, is a actual value that we have stored in the array. Okay. Now, how can we create this array? Okay, and yes, we will discuss it for Java. Okay, how can you create an array in Java? So you can create the array in Java by following this syntax. First, you have to mention data type in bracket, sorry, opening bracket and closing bracket. Next is array name equal to new. It is for the memory allocation. And again, you have to mention data type, opening bracket, size of the array and closing bracket. So this is the syntax to create an array in Java. So if I want to create this marks array of integer and the size is 5, how can I create it? So I will create it like this: integer, opening and closing bracket, marks equal to new, again data type it's integer and size is 5. Okay, so we have created one array, okay, of size 5 and it is integer. So by default it will store. So what is the default value for integer? So definitely it's a 0. Default value for integer is 0. Here we didn't mention which values we want to insert in the array. So it will just put the default value of given data type. So for integer, the default value is 0. So it will put 0 at all the position. Okay. But we just want to insert all this actual value in this array instead of this 0. Okay. So how can we insert or update the element in the array? So consider I want to update this value. So how can I update? I will type the array name in bracket index. So it's 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4, right? This is our index. So at 0 position, I want to update which value? It is 69. Okay. So what it will do? It will put 69 at 0th index and here it will be 0, 0, 0 because we didn't update it. Okay. Now again, I want to update here. So what is the index here? It is 1. So I will type array name index and which value I want to put there? It is 64. So again, it will update the array 69, 64, 0, 0, 0. So the same way you can update this and this value. Okay, so 2, 3 and 4 index. So this is how you can update the element values in array. Okay, so we'll also cover all this basic functionality in Visual Studio Code and using this Java language only. So let's start with that. So here we are going to write a Java code to create an array. We will also traverse through that array and we'll display the array elements, and then again after that we will just try to update the array elements. Okay, so let me just first create one array. So as we have already seen the syntax, so here I'm just going to create a array of type integers. So I have to mention first a data type integer, opening and closing bracket, the name of my array, so it is marks, equal to, again, here I have to do the memory allocation, so new. So now again integer, that's a data type, and opening and closing bracket, and in between I have to mention the size of the array, so it is 5. Okay, so as we already discussed, this will just create one array of size 5 and it will set the default value 0 for all the indexes. Okay, it's better, let's just validate this value. So what I will do is I will just iterate over all these 5 values that we have stored inside this array, and we'll just display what element or the data values which are stored in this array. Okay, so as per our discussion, it should be 0 0 0 0. Okay, so let's just validate it. So I will just type one for loop that will iterate over this marks array. Okay, so integer I, which will start from 0, then I should be less than, it should, this loop should run 4 times. Okay, so I can type 5 and I plus plus. Okay, alternative is, here one more option we have is we can type the array name. So here the array name is marks dot length. So what it will give, it will return the size of the array. So this will return 5 here. Okay, so I just want to system dot out dot println. Okay, so I just want to know which data we have stored. I mean, we didn't store, but by default it is showing for this array. So marks of index I. Okay, so let's just make it more understandable. So element at index, which I, okay, so it will print element at index 0 is 0, element at index 1 is 0, element at index 2 is 0, element at index 3 is 0, and element at index 4 is 0. So let's just validate it. Let me just compile it and run it. So yeah, we got the same output as we discussed. So by default, it stored 0 for all the element values. Okay, so now let's put some real values in that array. So I'm just putting marks and I just want to update the value at index 0. So let's update at 0. I want to update 69. Okay, let's save it and again do compilation and run it. So yes, at 0 index now we have 69. So let's update the value for all the indexes. Here I'm updating 79, 80, 81, and 82. Oops, we also have to update this index. Okay, so let's run it again. Yeah, we got the values inside the array. So now it is fine. Okay, we also do have one alternative. Here what we did, we created one array and then we initialized this values at each indexes. But instead of that, one more option we have is this one. Let's just initialize it here itself. 69, 79, 80. Let me keep that one and let's comment it out and then we will do it so that you can refer it later. Okay, so we'll just remove this size and opening and closing bracket. In that we will mention the array values or elements that we want to store in that array. 69, 79, 80, 81 and 82. So these are the values, default values that I want to store inside this array. Okay, previously we were not initializing this array. We were not initializing this array and it was storing the default value 0. But instead of that, we want to store our value inside that array instead of this 0. So let's run it. Compile it and run it. Yeah, we got it. Okay. So we covered the create an array. And okay, here we covered two ways. First one is here you are not initializing the array values, and here we are initializing the array values as well. We are traversing using for loop and displaying the array elements value, and we are updating elements in array using this.